Hello everyone, this is Bigalski.
And this is JTB.
And this is Chapter 15 of my Ninja Gaiden 2004 Very Hard Karma Run with my good buddy JTB. We still have Ghostfish in this chapter, and I still like JTB better. But, so this is the fight after Spirit Doku. And again, if you mess it up, see, there's the great thing about not having to worry about UTs. You know, you can just kill them with the flails and then go save.
Yeah, they don't let you do that in Sigma either. Like, you know, when you charge up, they're having none of that. Like, they just bite you immediately. Like.
But I almost think if you just kind of stand there, I try to do the XXX jump X, but I try to change directions while I'm doing it, because I've had times where I'll be on one side of it and they'll just be on the other side of it and they just won't even come over. They're so non-aggressive compared to Black. We talked about this in the last chapter, but you know, but if they latch onto you, forget about it.
Yeah, well, your health is just gone.
So, like I said in the earlier videos, I'm just kind of going on, you know, trying to get chapter time, or not chapter times, encounter times, and you know, at the beginning I was like focusing on my UF, but now since I actually mess up and get too much money, so I'm not going to get my essence bonus at the end. But here it's now, let me just try to, you know, get some points and use the time. I mean, it's still not like a major karma run, but I think finding a pattern, we're going to explore something in the chapter 16 video. But if you're going to do a proper karma run, finding the right pattern that's going to get you the most time, if you're worried about chapter time limits. But if you're not, it doesn't matter what pattern you use.
Yeah, pretty much. I think at the end of the day, if you're going to go for like absolute max, then you're going to ignore the time limits anyway. But it would be interesting to do like a kind of maximum karma run, but while making the time limits still, because again, that's what makes it, you know, difficult at the end of the day. Is keeping those time limits in check.
Well, here I know I could maybe have gone down to the low health UF, but if your timing's right with the fire wheels, you know, while you're doing your UT, it's going to, you know, expire. There's that thing where it changed the camera angle on me and switched me around. But just light it up again. They can grab you out of that. I was just at that, I guess, what, a recovery frame from that. So, but I have been grabbed out of, you know, after you finish your UT and he grabs you right there. So it can be a little bit close. Now, the reason I chose to go back through here versus going in town, I'm not going to make the time limit on this. I mean, I've pretty much given up. I've tried quite a few times. I tried it in chapter 14, tried it in this right here, and the hallway's just too long and it's just not enough time. So, having said that, this is still better the 45,000 I get or whatever it is on this run, and then the 20-something thousand I get coming back through is still better than going through and fighting a lot of encounters in town. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Ghostfish they're still worth 1,000 apiece when you respawn for the first time. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just yeah, it's real frustrating though. I'd like to see somebody kind of make that, but I mean, I probably tried it 30 times between both chapters and never even got close. And then of course, again, look at this time limit compared to the other one. So I think they're a little unfair about, you know, some of the encounter times. But
if they do ever do like an NGB NG04 HD collection, give us a call. We'll come and, like, you know, test your shit. make sure there's no problems in it.
But take out, you know, kind of combine the aspects of all three games. You know, time limits in certain encounters, fight, what the damage the enemies do, how things move, the sounds. I really don't like the sounds of Sigma.
You know, I've noticed a lot of people mention that on like the more videos I've been putting out, and I prefer Black. Black sounds like chunkier, if that makes sense. Like when you hit stuff in Black, it just sounds like it really hurts. In Sigma, like the Lunar UT, like the Lunar UT on the ninjas in Black sounds amazing. It sounds like that is just crushing bones when it hits them. Whereas in Sigma, it's got no impact on it at all. Like, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good. So I get what people are saying on that.
Well, look at the fire wheels. how I ran right through a couple ghost fish with my fire wheels going. It didn't even hit them. It's like, really? So
it's funny. I just thought, thinking of like the combining all the games, like ghost fish are complete like rubbish in NG2, aren't they? Like they're nowhere near as bad in NG2.
In NG2, I haven't played NG2 in so long that I forgot where you even fight them. Don't they just kind of float around and spin? And...
Yeah, like they don't really do anything in 2. Like it's weird, like how much they like for as kind of brutally cheap like as NG2 can be. Like their ghost fish are surprisingly tame compared to like, you know, 04 Black and Sigma.
Maybe people complain so much, and they kind of nerfed it in, you know, Ninja Gaiden Black in terms of the damage. You know, made them more aggressive but less damage. And then they just said, you know what, we're just going to make them easy because we're going to have the exploding shuriken ninjas just barrage you.
Yeah, like this game is bad enough.
So again, this right here is just making points. I think JTB he did his video a little bit different. Again, I've been trying to do not the same exact thing that he's done to show options. I think he goes through and goes and fights and does the core at the very beginning, and then he knows how much time he has left to do what at the end. Well, I sat there, said, oh, I'm going to do something different, and get up to the core and finish the chapter and be over by 2 minutes. And then have to refight everything.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I can't remember what order I do. I want to say I do the core in one go, but I can't remember. So remember, anything I did more than a week ago in this game, I have to check my video. I don't remember that far back.
So here's something that I did wrong. You can actually go over where you picked up the key to that door. I should have went there first. I mean, I do this and then I come back and save. But there is that fight over there. I do go and get it. But like I said, in terms of time-wise, maybe it's a little bit of waste of time to have to go over there since I was already right there at the beginning coming out of the door. So maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. But as long as I make the time. See, I was going to go do it right there, and I said, you know what, let me go save, because if I mess that up, I got to do all of this again. So let me just go save, buy what I need. And the other part about going over there and doing that fight first before coming through here is I could have used my exploding arrows and then restocked at Miramasa, you know, if I'd fought that fight first. Because now if I have to use my exploding arrows, well, since I'm not going to go back to a Miramasa statue for the rest of the game, you know, I'm going to be hurting on exploding arrows if I need them for the core or need them for the final form. So again, finding a pattern that works, that's optimal and efficient. I mean, that's what I think kind of makes it challenging, that you have to figure this out versus, oh, let me just go through it and who cares.
Yeah, the biggest restriction always comes down to time, I think, personally. Like, because if you know, like, for example, you imagine if there was no, you know, in the end of chapter time bonuses, there isn't one for full health, for example, but there is in mission mode. You imagine if there was no bonus for the time limit in story mode. You imagine, like, how different it'd be from, like, how you would play everything.
Now watch how far. There was a fish next to me. I went to go UT and it did the crab. I'm like, okay, well, let me get him again. He's closer. Nope. Let me go the other way and not hit anybody. But he'll keep doing that, man. If he knows he's trying to use the UT, so he'll keep doing that laser, you know, on you.
But all that money.
Yeah, that I don't need.
Yeah.
At this point, because like I said, I'm not going to get my chapter bonus. But I don't actually mind getting hit and going down to health or low health. And I should have just switched over. Do I switch over to? No, I just Ninpo.
Yeah, I mean level 3 Inferno is still super strong though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and hey, there you go. Get a little Ninpo out of it. But yeah, people might say, "Oh, well, you've used a ton of Ninpo." Well, again, this whole run was just showing how to get through, making the majority of the time limits using what the game gives you. This is not a handicap run at all. And feel free to use all the Ninpo you want, because there's ghost fish from here on out to replace it.
Yeah.
So
I remember back in like when NGO4 was still like brand new, when anyone
no
would
on-landing Ninpo there. So
yeah,
anyway,
you can't do it. But yeah, when people would actually being in this area reminded me, people would ask for help on Spirit Doku, like, oh, how'd you fight Spirit Doku? And I remember I just used to post, like, if it's on normal, just Inferno him, like 4 Infernos and he's dead. Like, you know, it's like if your goal is to just get through the game, like, yeah, just Inferno him. Like, who gives a shit? Like, level 3 Inferno on normal, like, God, it does like 25% damage to him. It's crazy.
It's amazing because I never leveled up my Inferno to level 3 ever. I don't believe in Ninja Gaiden Black, just because you're worried about, you know, the score and the time it takes to. So again, I mean, it's still that difference.
It's still really strong, but they nerfed Ninpo, like especially Inferno, considerably in Black.
I hate not being able to rotate the camera. You know, it's such a disadvantage on, especially on something like this when this laser crab is. I can't tell you how many times I got lasered off screen, and
yeah,
sometimes they'll jump over that. But I just got to the point. See, look at that. I shouldn't have. To me, I shouldn't have got hit like that. But anyway, I did. The imp hitting me, I'm just not sure how that happened, but I guess the recovery frames, that's what I was talking about earlier with the crab. Sometimes he'll grab you out of that move, sometimes he won't. It's so close.
Yeah.
That you have to learn. Now here's another one of those time limits that we talked about in chapter 14. The timer starts early. I've tried lighting the fire wheels before and running in, and actually ran through all of those fish, and the fire wheels not hit any of them. Oh, it wasn't until I got to like the center, so I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna sweat it too much.
Yeah, because you cut it close enough to where like the kill bonus isn't really a factor anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so like because on these ghost fish fight, like the seconds are worth a lot of points. But when you're only just gonna make it like half a second.
Well, you lose the 10,000, but like I said, unless all 6 spawned right on you, and you could kill them and it'd start again, but they spawn in all different corners. So again, that was one of the ones out of 30 or 40 tries I never made it at all. So I tried to do an on landing and then I absorbed my essence. I said, let me see if I can get the on landing. But again, I don't mind because I am I think I fill up my health, but it's not the end of the world to let the ghost fish. Oh, that's what I do, I think, on here. I let the last ones bite me to get me down to low health for the core.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of a mistake for 2 reasons. One, it's so unpredictable how much damage they're going to do.
That's true, you know? Yeah.
Because, I mean, if all 5 of these guys latched on me, all of a sudden, I'd be dead.
Yeah, especially at this health. Like, you'd be dead in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, well, trust me, I had to play this about 4 or 5 times. And then I think I just kill them, and then I switch over to my Kitetsu as I'm going back to save. Yeah. But, you know, that wasted some time that if I had just let the red dragons knock me down to low health in the core like you did, you know, probably would have saved a little bit, you know, that maybe 5 or 10 seconds or something. I still haven't picked up that Ninpo over there, but turns out I didn't need it.
I was just going to ask, I can't remember what I did, and it's funny how like you remember what I did, and yeah, I don't.
Well, I kind of double checked. Well, you know, I double checked because again, our runs are really close together, and I just didn't want it to be JTB is just doing what Al does, or Al's just doing what JTB does. I wanted to show options. That's the good thing about it. And
yeah, one forward Y doesn't knock these guys out, does it?
I think at low health it does, but I was so nervous of getting nailed doing something stupid. Again, I need to quit making like fighting videos. I'm getting so old that, you know, my fighting videos aren't very good. I just need to make blooper videos. You know, I would have a lot more footage of the blooper videos. But again, not being able to rotate the camera, you're kind of just guessing sometimes. See, I got lucky right there that he spawned. I didn't see him at first because of the essence was right in front of me.
One thing, speaking of which, I didn't actually do it on this run because I wasn't really streaming much at the time. But one thing that really helps in NG for spawn locations is using headphones. It makes a huge difference because you can really hear like where they're spawning through headphones. But if you're just playing it on, I mean, I suppose if you had like surround sound, you could. But if you're just playing it on like a regular TV with built-in speakers, you can't really tell. Whereas I've been streaming a lot lately. Like that's one thing that I've noticed. Like that headphones give you a really big advantage because like you can hear the spawn and you're like, there's a guy to my right. Like. I know where he is, so like with NGO4, that would help somewhat with not having the controllable camera.
Right. Well, what I do on the fire wheels is I kind of run around while it's going, and then right before there's a sound it makes that it's fixing to finish, and then that's when I stop and kind of do my jump XXX jump X.
Mm-hmm.
That way I don't get grabbed or my timing's bad and stuff like that. Here, I think if you just kind of stood and did XXX jump X at a certain location and didn't move, that would be a hard time limit to make because, like I said, they just don't come to you that much. But
yeah,
use
they
the
don't.
Ninpo.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the fire wheels here for sure,
Yeah.
and they give you Ninpo, and you have like on NGO4. There's not a whole lot of reason to have anything other than fortune equipped like when you get fortune. Like as soon as you get fortune, I feel like that's kind of your default armlet in this game because the like benediction, you don't really need the money all that much. Like the buffs on sun and moon are kind of shit, whereas 2 Ninpo slots for every Ninpo orb is huge. Like that's a massive bonus with how good Ninpo is in this game.
Yeah, I should try to get down to low health. I don't want to let him bite me though.
I was gonna say, yeah, and then look who turns up. He's like, I'll help. Like, it's like, I can get you there in no time.
Didn't dissolve.
Yeah. Those magma fiends, man, those stuff are nightmares.
Well, I tell you what, if he grabs you, it's at like 70% of your health or more.
Yeah. With a couple of health upgrades less, when they chomp, like when they bite you, that probably would put you at low health. Might not be like pulsating health, but you definitely be at you definitely have the first level buff on the UF.
I've talked about it a little bit earlier, but on something in here, look at him kind of go, and then I'm like, oh, watch out. Yeah, he kind of was like he was going to charge me, and then he kind of stopped. Well, I mean, he saw who he was facing, so maybe that's why he turned away, but I don't know.
You get a lot more enemies in here, don't you? Just thinking about it. As opposed to Black, like the core levels, you actually get a lot more in those first 2 floors.
Right. I will say that you can fight this level again, or you can fight each floor of the core twice, and then that's it. Because I actually did that the first time when I thought I was going to get the Dark Dragon Blade, forgetting that you can't. But
yeah, you don't get it in this.
Yeah. So, once you fight each floor twice, when you come back through that floor again, there won't be any enemies there. But the ghost fish, you can, keep fighting them until it goes down to 0. But it's not even worth, because I tried to do that at first. Oh, I'll just fight all the levels of the core and show that. But then my points were so different because I wasn't fighting the ghost fish.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the ghost fish are going to be worth more.
Yeah, there's no point if you're trying to make the end of chapter time limit to fight the core floors again. They're just not worth the points. So I thought my whole plan was, and I'm kind of showing this, I thought I could turn them in, get the Dark Dragon Blade, fight these top 4 floor or the top 2 core floors with the Dark Dragon Blade until I realized you don't get the Dark Dragon Blade, you get the Ninja Gaiden game. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to show this part of it. I actually went back down at the end of the game at the end of the chapter before I fought the final 4 to show this part of it just in case people forget. So for 50 Scarabs, you get the Ninja Gaiden game that you can play in hands bar, which is I'm going. You get the Dark Dragon Blade in chapter 13 on successive play. So that's how you get the first disc. The second disc I think you have to do in a successive play, and then you shoot the clock tower there in Tehran. I'm not sure which side of the face you shoot it on, but it's one of the two. So, and then the third Ninja Gaiden game that you get, and I don't know if, so number 2 is blanked out, number 3 is blanked out, but you would get that in chapter 10 in the peristyle passageway at the top of the pillar where you would normally get the Scarab. So again, I don't know if you need to play through it a third time. I might do a successive play run, karma run, kind of how we were talking about. So I'll pick up the second one, and then when I'm in chapter 10, see if I get that one, and if I don't, I know you have to play it one more time.
Yeah.
So, to be
It is cool that they
continued.
put all those old ones in, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it is cool that they're all in there.
So after I played this chapter like 3 times to finally get it right how I wanted it, I just said, you know what? Just fight the Scarab or fight the ghost fish a couple times, and you know, maybe not even go back and maybe go back at the beginning part of chapter 14 and then fight this like 4 times or something. That way you have more time. I don't know which would be better, but that's for somebody else to decide. So here, not having the low health kind of hurts, but again, level 3 Inferno Ninpo. I think I do put on the Sun, because if you have on the Fortune and then Ninpo the guy, and then do a forward Y with the Fortune on, it doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
Whereas
The thing with
it does.
yeah, that's the thing about the thing with Inferno on this. Like, it's so powerful. It's like one of the few things where having Armlet of the Sun on actually makes a noticeable difference. It's the same principle as the UF. Like, it's not that much more powerful, but when you're at low health, it's a small damage buff to something that is dealing, you know, like a game-breaking levels of damage. So
I did get grabbed a few times. I'm glad I was doing that UT. That's funny how that turned him around.
yeah.
But yeah, I have got grabbed underneath. I tried to kick out of it, but I never could, and I tried to Ninpo out of it, and I never could. So I'm sure my timing is just off. But that was always one of the frustrating parts. You get up to like the 4th floor of the core, and then you miss an input or something, and you know, they grab you and drag you back down, and because we're playing for score, it's like, damn it, you got to start over and do the whole thing.
Yeah, that is killer. That is, it's the worst way to end like one of those fights on a karma run. Like, things are going well and they grab you like you. Oh man, it hurts. I love watching the Ninpo. Like, I don't know why, but like, there's something really satisfying about watching the Ninpo fill up 2 at a time. You know, when you have Fortune on and it just pops up. It just looks so much. It just looks so good.
I think. I forgot what I was going to say now. It was about the crab things or going back. Oh, the great thing about doing one of these all-out karma runs where you're not worried about the end of chapter time is you could sit there and fight one floor at a time and then just go save.
Yeah, you could definitely.
You know, sit there and fight, drag the essence in to fight the core floor again, then keep going in and out of the door until the ghost fish go to 0, then just go save. So that's I really think I'm going to do that, and if I record anything, it'll be just chapter 15. And then what I planned on doing was once I got the Dark Dragon Blade, do all the Fiend challenges with the Dark Dragon Blade that I could.
Yeah,
you know,
I wish they would let you save the archive challenge for later in the game. That's like one of my wishes ever since I like got the game. Because I just want to play the Master Ninja Archive Challenge with, like, the UF. Like, because it would just be so much fun.
See? Oh, look at him stand there. That's the thing about not rotating the camera. I didn't know where the guy was. I didn't want him to all of a sudden come around and grab me. So I'm just like, screw this. I'm Ninpoing my way out of all this, man. I didn't know I was going to hit his head. I didn't know. See, that's the bad thing. Sometimes when you're trying to jump away and you end up landing on their head, and then that kind of messes you up because you think you're going to do an on-landing.
But man, that damage. Like when they hit you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
And then the sound, it sounds so good. I mean, as much as like some of the sounds that our weapons do against them picking you up, just kind of that scraping, scooping sound, and then throwing down, and the base of you hitting the ground. It's whoever did that, they should have designed Sigma.
Yeah, all the sounds in this game, like even when the enemies hit you, like, you know, I mean, they don't have it in this game, but when the ninjas do their grab, where they flip over and stab you, like that noise just sounds like, whoa, yeah, like when the sword goes through you, it's like, oh, that sounds painful. Like, the sounds are so good.
Oh yeah, yeah. But so in hindsight, see, I didn't have any Ninpo lit or in my filled up. So I went ahead and put the Great Devil Elixir in because I knew I'm going to pick one up top. I wish I hadn't have done that, but then my thinking was, if I let these ghost fish latch onto me and then miss the time limit or use a rebirth or something, let me just go ahead and refill all of my Ninpo. I'll pick up the spirit of, not the spirit of the devil. What is the Great Devil Elixir? And then I'll be filled up going into the core. But in hindsight, I kind of wish I hadn't have done that. But anyway, it's just an option. So here's
it is. I mean, you do get there's 2 in this chapter, isn't there? In total, there's 2 Great Devil Elixirs in this chapter. Yeah.
So I tried to fight this out with like the Dobby or doing something, but you know, you run the clock all the way down close to 0. See, there's me missing my forward Y. But you know, so you might as well just let them go down and use the UF. And I can tell you this: if I didn't use the UF, I wasn't going to make the chapter time limit because I fought all those other fights.
Yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, we talked about, you know, fighting other fights without the UF. But at this point, all I can say is we highly recommend people to learn how to use it. So, again, that's what this is going to be. So I wanted to show this first fight of me fighting Hydrocubus. I actually kind of tried a different way. Normally we would take off one of the tentacles, take off the other, UT, then go UT again. And then whenever his tentacles came out, kind of repeat. Well, here I decided to do, you know, take off the tentacles, XXY, and then go ahead and UT this. Because see, now this will knock them both off, and then you can just jump.
It still damages him too, doesn't it? Because the UFUT's active frames, it's hard to tell like without like an enemy around you. But
look at that, 178.
Yeah, the active frames on that are super, super long.
Yeah, and the splash damage kind of encompassed him. So that's the way I wanted to do it. This is the way I actually did it on my run. I always mess it up because then I think to myself, don't mess it up. But see, now I think I'm on the wrong side. So what I try to do, I think I'm on the wrong side. Or this is where I was just trying the XX and to see if it did more damage than the XXY. But I'm like, let me roll over. So now I waited it.
The blue's gone.
Yeah, now the blue's gone. So I'm like, okay, well I can, and then I miss my on landing. Then I pick up my blue. I mean, I still kill him in 2, or 2 cycles. But that could have been so much better. And look at the points difference. So I had 178 to 169. So 9,000 points different just because of a couple bad moves. So again, that's why it's important to try to be efficient. Like JTB.
That's what you get for thinking, man.
Oh.
You don't think when you play. That's everyone's problem. When you think, things go wrong.
You're in trouble.
You have to just play blindfolded.
Well, the first blocked hit that I got from that meteor, or whatever you want to call it, I kind of did that on purpose because I knew I had to go down to low health.
Yeah.
But the second one wasn't. So.
And Jotunfrau is an absolute tank on NGO4 as well. He's got so much. I mean, he kind of has on black as well, but he has a lot more damage reduction on here than Hydrocubus. But yeah, the low health UF doesn't quite make mincemeat of him like it does everything else.
And this right here, just like Marvis, it all depends on what he's going to do. Hydrocubus is going to do the same thing no matter what. And then, see, I kind of dog it, as usual. But if he starts spamming, you know, the ice below, and keep doing that, you know, your run's done if you're really going for points. I mean, I got lucky. So I think here, I shouldn't have hit him. I should have just stood there and let the fire wheels kill him. That's what I should have done. But I've had times where he's, you know, 5 or 6 times in a row, he spams the ice. And like I said, and then usually that's going to hit you eventually. And you're going to use the rebirth. And then you're really screwed if you don't have the low health. And then I've had perfect runs on Hydrocubus and Jotun Frau, and then Marvis either stay up like that or just spam. And this is just kind of guess, and I really wish I could control jump better like you do, because I jumped the wrong way. If I could have jumped straight into him, and that's another one. I was trying to jump straight back at him and went the other way, so. Eventually I'm going to learn how to move in this game. I think I miss here. Yeah. Again, just
that's unlucky. Yeah, like it's it does a lot of less damage to him as well. Like UF.
You know, it's funny. You can do an on-landing Ninpo after an attack, but you can't do it. Just kind of jump on landing Ninpo.
Yeah, you can't do it from neutral. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see there, I thought I was going to get nailed by that guy, so that's the reason I did it. Took a little chance there, but...
that was nice.
So again, it could have gone a little bit better if I knew which direction I was going. That always helps. But it's still not too bad, I guess, overall. And of course, if you don't care about score, who cares? But that's not us. That's why people watch the channel.
Yeah, I guess. But he's another one where the difference in making that, you know, the difference in being able to charge UTs makes a huge difference on him.
Right. Yeah, you kind of got to watch. Now, in hindsight, I should have just went down and let the ghost fish bite me and use a rebirth. And because I have 3 rebirths, and save my Great Devil elixir just in case I need it. Because it would be a lot faster, because sometimes I'd already picked up the rebirth. You know, sometimes you got to use a rebirth the way that we fight the final form. Well, you don't want to have to keep jumping because your health bar is so, you know, high. Yeah. And if you had the extra devil elixir, you know, you could do that. See how I did my little transition down because I was going down to...
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, you can't charge on the Emperor at first form either.
Right.
Although, yeah, Inferno still does a nice chunk.
Well,
look
also,
how much time you have.
By the time they light the... Or you do the animation of the Ninpo, it's just long enough to keep you safe from the laser beams. So it works out fine at level 3. At level 2, it doesn't work that way. At level 2, by the time it ends and you're like recovering, the laser beam usually hits you. And, you know, that'll do some damage. So that's the one good thing about the level 3 Inferno.
Yeah, they do a ton of damage too on NGO4, those lasers.
Oh yeah, I forgot how to move up and down on the platform, so I like used a rebirth because I kept getting knocked down and I couldn't figure out how to get back up. Because normally you don't have to ever worry about that. So we say it every time. Whoever thought of this is super genius.
Yeah, as we say, like we can't remember, but it's probably me.
We said that the last time.
Yeah,
we need to come up with new material on this. But,
yeah, we need new jokes.
So one of the things that we talked about when we finally got here, JTB did this fight. He had the level 1 in his zoom. And your timing needs to be critical on these, because if your timing's off, he will grab you. So if you take a few steps or something like that, so your timing really needs to be critical on, so he doesn't grab you. But anyway, so I have level 2 in Azuma, JTB had 1, and we were going to see the difference of the kill bonus after it was all said and done. So I did make a slide of that, so we'll get to that point.
Just looking at the health, it really doesn't look like that big of a deal. Like, I can't remember what the final tally was, but I suppose it's just because of how many times you're doing it. Like it's not that much damage, but I suppose because of how many times you're doing the Ninpo, even if it's only like a 50th of his health, if you're doing it to him like, 10, 20 times, like that's going to mount up sooner or later.
Right. So here, I think I used my last, elixir right there, or my last Great Devil elixir, whereas if I just used a rebirth, I would have had another one, just in case I needed it for some other odd, strange reason. So planning that stuff out is a little bit different. Now, see, I use exploding arrows here. I probably should have used strongbow. Maybe I could have killed a couple, but I think so. Here I just totally killed. So now the difference, I made this slide. So JTB with his level 1 killed 333 skulls and had a kill bonus of 605,110. I killed 304, had a kill bonus of, I think it's 582,460. So it wasn't that much as I thought it was going to be, but also I killed him 7 seconds faster, so that's going to kind of skew that kill result.
Yeah, and one thing to note as well, in that fight, because you're killing so many extra enemies, like a second is worth, I think, like roughly like 10, 15,000 points. So if you'd have done it, like if I'd have done it as fast, like my kill bonus would have been that much bigger because of the higher kills. So getting a perfect Emperor 2 is really, really hard, but like it can't be stressed enough just like how many points that boss fight is worth.
Right. Well, the chapter time limit was 35 minutes, so as you can see, I had 20 seconds to spare. So just think, if I hadn't used the low health UF on the top of the core, there was no way I would have made it. If I had a bad run, I wouldn't have been able to get the points I got earlier in the chapter because I would have been using regular weapons. So that's less time to be, getting more points. So again, it's just a balance of what people want to do. But like I said, I personally, because the level 2 kills close to the same and the time bonus a little, you're going to kill faster, so you're going to make up a little points there. But having that level 2, I think, throughout the game overall versus the level 1, like I could Ninpo some of the soldier fiends in chapter 13 and it would kill them, where I think your level 1 wouldn't do that.
No, level 1 doesn't kill them.
Yeah, so I'm making up points using that. So again, what's the trade-off? I mean,
on a full-blown run, I'd say level 2 is better, because if you think about it, if you have level 2 in Azuma, if you're going back through the entire game, like if you're going back through the town in every single chapter, you think how many times you're going to use that level 2 in Azuma versus just using it once on the run I did, where I didn't go back and fight everything again.
Right.
I'd say overall, like, it probably would make... Because you think it was only, like 20k? It wasn't that much.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that much because of the time and everything like that. Maybe 30, 25, something like that. So, anyway, that is it for Chapter 15. I don't think we mentioned the kills, but whatever the kills are, you're going to make them, as long as you fight the fights.
It's sort of irrelevant.
I mean,
yeah, it's sort of irrelevant on that chapter. There's no... Like, if you're on a karma run and, like, you're chaining UTs from the fish, like... There's no way you'll fail that kill bonus.
Right. Now, I will say real quick, this was kind of something that I remembered, and I never tested it out. Maybe I will. But I always heard if you went back to the Muramasa shop after you got to the top of the core and fought that, and before you fought the final 2 forms, if you went back to the Muramasa shop in Chapter 14, whenever you tried to come back through the Spirit Doku area, it wouldn't let you. You would, fall through. Now, I didn't test it on this.
Oh, yeah, that does ring a bell, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
So, maybe, I still have that save, I believe. So, I'll test it out. And if it is, maybe make its own video or put it with something else that I'm doing. But, anyway, just a thought. I was just thinking of that right now. But that's it for chapter
Yeah.
15, guys. Hope everybody enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.
Take care, everybody.